The door of the ascension chamber unfolded and clicked shut. The chamber quivered. Viola shivered, wrapped her fingers around the handrail on the wall beside her, and glanced around the metal cage. The tall operator in a Channel Airship Service community uniform rattled the door, flipped the latch, and pushed down on the control lever. Cogs whirred and machinery groaned. The chamber lurched and began its descent. Viola shut her eye and gripped the bar tighter. She doubted she would ever become comfortable in the claustrophobic enclosures. Her ears buzzed, muffling the voices of fellow passengers behind her, rendering them indecipherable. The cage wobbled. Viola's fingers cramped as she resisted the urge to scream. A woman gasped. "How beautiful!" Viola opened her eyes and peered at the piazza below. The morning sun was still low on the horizon. It glinted off the water lapping the edges of the canal. Shimmering reflections danced on the bottom of the arched bridge. The operator raised the control lever, slowing the chamber's descent. The clatter of the city and smell of brine infused the chilled air as it drifted through the chamber. A canal breeze lifted errant flurries of snow off the row of gondolas bobbing on the water. Angry, overlapping voices drifted across the piazza and were carried away over the canal. Handmade placards waved above a small crowd of men gathered at the edge of the piazza, confined behind a rope barricade. Two burly men in company uniform stood on the near side. The ascension chamber shuddered to a halt. The operator opened the chamber door and nodded in the direction of the company men. They stepped forward, nudging the rope, and started down the crowd. The crowd settled and shifted restlessly. "Welcome to Venezia, ladies and gentlemen." The operator directed Viola, Polly, and their fellow passengers toward a steam-powered omnibus next to the tower. "The omnibus will take you to the Channel Airship Services offices to meet your loved ones." Viola followed the other passengers toward the omnibus as the chamber ascended to retrieve the next group of travelers. Polly eyed the group of men beyond the rope barricade. "Miss," she whispered as she stepped closer to Viola. "I'd heard the gadgeteers were active in Europe," Viola replied, "but I never expected them to be so brazen, accosting innocent tourists." "Gadgeteers?" asked Polly. "It's the name given to the European industrialists lobbying to abolish the mechanicals' permit restrictions. They want permission to sell their mechanicals freely in Britain." Polly gasped. "Perhaps one day I could qualify for papers and own a plectocycle of my own." She clasped the carpetbag to her chest. "Unfortunately, the gadgeteers care little for those who can't afford them," replied Viola as she climbed up the omnibus steps and settled on one of the bench seats. It was narrow but comfortable. Polly plopped down next to her. "And I'm afraid Her Majesty is determined to keep the embargo, despite their protestations and the advice of Prince Albert," said Viola. The luggage cart rumbled across the flagstones toward them. Its contents were deposited in the luggage compartment with a thump.